Sure. So I don't tax reform. It's part of the structuring, although I don't think it has not been a huge detriment to date. I'll say that with the caveat that as long as as part of the tax reform efforts by this administration and Congress, as long as the actual solar investment tax credit, the ITC for ownership of projects, is not on the chopping block, as people seem to agree that it's not, then the tariff that we were talking about is exponentially more grave for the industry than the tax reform. So with that caveat aside, but what tax reform will likely result in is a lower corporate tax rate. So that will hurt the economics and the returns of tax equity deals. If you're a tax equity investor and you're getting $1 million in depreciation losses as part of your benefits for investing in a solar transaction, right now that's effectively worth $350,000 because the marginal corporate tax rate is 35%. So if the corporate tax rate drops to 20%, that the same $1 million in losses you're getting for your investment is now only worth $200,000 effectively at 20%. So that hurts the returns. But I do think that just generally the market right now is scarce projects. And so there's more tax equity investors and tax equity dollars out there than actual solar projects. So that's forced tax equity investors to accept lower returns and somewhat balance out the potential hit there on the economics. And in terms of how to structure that, what you see in deals is essentially just you pick, okay, right now let's assume maybe the corporate tax rate is going to be 20 or 25%. And then if it ends up being a different number, there can just be an adjustment mechanism within the deal that the tax equity investor will either contribute more or less dollars as appropriate. So you can structure around that easily enough. And I think the market dynamics are such that, we'll be able to handle tax reform okay.